Welcome back to the channel, you guys. We have another install video for you guys today. In today's video, we're gonna be installing some F150 LED Spartan hood lights on the F150 Tremor. And I opted for the amber style hood lights to better go with the orange trim on the F150 Tremor. Now, I'm very excited about this mod because not only should it look very good and complement the aggressive build very well, but we get to use an upfitter switch, another auxiliary switch on our Tremor. So we'll hook that up, we'll do all the wiring for that, as well as the install on these lights itself. And then we'll go out and we'll do some testing at nighttime to see how bright they are, and if this is something that you guys are kind of interested in purchasing for your trucks as well. So let's get to the install, and we'll do the unboxing right away. So this kit comes with 3 separate boxes. We have our mounting brackets in this one, we have our wiring harness in this one, and of course we have our hood lights in this one. So let's just open this one right off the bat here. We got these are our other mounting brackets, and we have our 2 hood lights right here. In this box, we have our wiring harness, and I'm not too sure what we're gonna need out of this because we already plan on wiring to our upfitter switches. Let's see what this is. There's a relay in here I can see already, and we might not even need that. But this is quite the wiring harness here. So I definitely won't be using a lot of this harness setup that is supplied because I'm hooking right to my auxiliary switches. So I'll be cutting a lot of this off and just utilizing these 2 ends here that plug into my ends right here on the light. Can't speak on behalf of everyone doing their installs. I can kind of give you an idea of how it all is supposed to go, but everyone at the end of the day might have a bit of a different way of how they want their lights to work. They might want their LEDs tied in with their hood lights, with their fog lights, with an auxiliary switch, with the ignition on, in which you might want that relay to use that for. So there's just different ways to hook up a light, but in my situation, guys, we're gonna be utilizing the factory upfitter switches. So if you have those, you guys, this video will be perfect for you. You guys can follow along, and we'll get it all dialed in going that way. The last box here, we have our mounting brackets that our other brackets will be going on top of. And then these guys will sit on top of here, and then the lights will sit in there. First impression of these lights are very, very nice. They have just a lot of really nice subtle designs. They got the American flag right there, and just the finishing on these. Can't really speculate on what kind of finish it is, but it certainly seems durable and will hold up to all the weather going forward. This will be a very easy install for the most part. One glaring issue that I already see is the bolt antenna is gonna be in the way, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to figure out what to do with that. I don't know if I'm gonna remove it. I don't use my antenna because I have satellite radio, and then I use my Android Auto and Spotify. So I can almost maybe delete the antenna. I don't want to, but we'll have to see what we're dealing with once we do the bracket installs and sort of see where the light sits and if we can maneuver it out of the way. So the bolt that we're mounted to, you just lift this flap up here and it's right there. So we're gonna mount our bracket right to this guy here. It's very easy, very accessible, just a 10mm bolt. And we're gonna be reusing that bolt once we put the bracket in. So that's what we're gonna start with. So we'll just take the antenna out right now anyways, peel it back to get to that 10mm. And there's our bolt. We're gonna want the shorter tab, and we're gonna want the angle to go backwards towards the rear of the truck. I'll drill it on. Now we'll go ahead and we'll hammer this home. The bracket's loose, but we have it mounted reusing that factory bolt. We're gonna take our next bracket, which is this guy, and you want the hook part here, like it's kind of a swooped bracket there, and this is gonna be on the front of your truck. So we're gonna mount it as such, and then we're gonna take our supplied hardware, our bolt and our nut. Now we got our light mounting bracket on it, and like there is some adjustability, like I said earlier, to try to get past that antenna. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. There's 2 slots on this light right there and right there, and you can go ahead and you can drop your nuts in there. We'll drop our 1 nut just like that, so it dropped right into the slot there, as you can see. And then we'll do the same for our other guy here. There we go, drop down, and then we're gonna mount this guy onto here, and then we'll throw our supplied little hex head bolts in. You can do this just by feel. And then we'll take our supplied Allen key and we'll tighten this down. And that's sort of what you're looking at. You know, you do have some room to move it. You know, you're not gonna hit it just yet. You can slide it over like that. You can turn it if you want. You have full, you'd have to pull it to this side, I guess, and then go back to this side to clear it. It's unfortunate because on my 2018, the bullet antennas were mounted down on the body here. So now they've decided to mount them on the valence here, which sort of ruins it for any sort of additional mods that you want to install. So we'll keep it off for now, and we'll figure out what to do in the future regarding that. So I got the other light installed, the exact same process as the passenger side, nothing changes, other than this side's a little easier because you don't have the bullet antenna to deal with. And so far it's looking really good. It looks like it's gonna match the orange trim very, very well. I'm very, very excited to see what this looks like once it's all said and done. So let's pop the hood now and we'll start with the wiring. So the next part of the install is just getting the wire ran through our engine bay, and I don't have this bolted down just yet. That way we have that flexibility to move it around to get the wire where it needs to go. So we just simply have to peel this back again and we'll shove the bigger end down there, and we'll see if we can pull it from our engine bay here. You want to set this up in such a way that your wire is not going to get pinched, and I think having it right here is a good spot. So we have the wire ran underneath here, and then we have it popped out just on the other side of the bracket here. So it's all nicely hidden. And then all we have to do is connect it to our auxiliary switch wire. But let's go do the passenger side really quickly there, and then we'll run our wires. So same thing here, just flip up your little valence here. We'll shove the wire down there. There we go, just like that. So both of them are tucked in. And I'm trying to figure out which route to go back to the battery from this side. And I think I'm just gonna take this and clip all this up here and lift this all up. And I think I can run it where my washer lines are. So I'm gonna run it underneath here, the wire all the way back to the battery. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do is we're gonna take our harness and we're gonna wanna separate our two hood light wires here. You can grab our cutters, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut these. If I need to extend one of the wires, it's fine, but this harness is useless to me. So make sure you try to get as much length as possible on these two wires that we'll be using, and then one of them will basically plug right into here. And then the other one will have to run, like I said a moment ago, through the kind of the hood here, and we'll have to get over to our other side, which seems like there will be enough length on it, and then we'll hook it up to our auxiliary switch wires, which are actually in the engine bay here already. And then we can continue routing this into our little raceway here for our wire. There, it's all clamped down, and that worked out quite well there. This little flap comes in handy for nice, easy wire runway. And then the wire just comes out here, just like on the other side there. So this rubber flap. And then we might be a little short. It'll be very, very close. So I might have to make a pigtail if needed, just to extend this wire just ever so slightly. And if you watched any of my previous videos, we use our auxiliary 1 switch already, and our auxiliary 2 switch is going to be our green with the brown stripe, and those wires can be found right in the back behind the battery here. We're going to just put a T-tap off of it. T-taps have always been a go-to for me, and I've never had any issues. And some signs of a bad T-tap, I guess you would see your lights flickering, all that stuff, but no, I've never had issues. So I'm going to keep using this, and these are very easy to access. If I need to do a change or something like that, I can do that. So I won't have enough length on my driver's side wire to get to my T-tap. Then we're gonna make a pigtail for these guys so we can come with some longer cables to our T-tap. Now there's 3 wires for these guys. I'm guessing that because it's a combo kit, you're gonna have 1 wire for your spotlight, 1 wire for your fog light, and then your negative, of course. What we're gonna do is we're gonna end up tying I'm assuming that the black is a negative, and we can confirm that very easily right away here. But we're gonna do the red and the white, twist those together, and the black goes to our negative, and then the same with this one. We're gonna twist our red and our whites together, and then the black goes to the negative on the driver's side light as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get these wires stripped here. Let's just do a quick test on here. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna get my battery pack here so I can test these circuits real quickly. Just gonna hook to the positive, the red and the white wire together on this guy, and then I'm gonna hook to the negative. We're gonna turn it on, and I'm sure you guys can tell that the lights are in fact turning on. So let's figure out while we're here which one is the spotlight. So we'll have just the red one hooked up. Oh no, it seems to be both. So then what is the white one? Oh, okay, that's cool. So that changes things. I actually might want to hook these up to 2 auxiliary switches now. So this is just an orange, like a backlit light, almost like a marker light. And that's actually been pretty nice. Like if you're just driving and you want some sort of daytime running light, man, you have a lot of options with this. This is really cool. And then obviously when you touch your red wire, then the whole light comes on, right? And then now you have just your backlit light there. So that's really neat. I assumed because it was a combo light, you'd have one for the bottoms and one for the top. Not the case, and now that changes things. So I think for today, I'm just gonna hook it up to another auxiliary switch. We'll do auxiliary switch 3 for these lights, and maybe we'll do another video in the future, either hooking these up to daytime running lights or our turn signals. What will change now is we'll do our whites to white, because now we'll still have to make that extension wire, because our wire is too short regardless. But now we won't combine our wires, so I'll need a 3-wire extension wire there. So we'll do white to white, black to black, and then we will do red to red. We are gonna get our butt splices, and we're gonna put our butt splices on after making those connections, just like that. So let's crimp them all here. And then you wanna do a tug test on all your wires that you just did. So we'll do the same thing with our extension wire here. So we'll strip these. So we got our wires stripped, and we'll do one at a time here. We'll crimp the white one first and tug test them all. They all feel pretty good. Now good practice would be to heat shrink all these. You put your heat shrink on, then you heat shrink each individual one of those. I don't have any right now at the moment, but we also have electrical tape for a reason as well. So, okay there, so we tape them all just like that. Then what we're gonna do is tape the whole bundle together. Put some more tape. Get this all nice and tight here. There, and just like that, that's our lights, our driver, or our passenger light, our driver light going into an extension here, and now we have enough cable to attach to our auxiliary wires. So now we need to install another T-tap onto our other auxiliary wire, which is going to be my yellow one here. Unfortunately, my mic died, so hopefully you guys don't have any trouble hearing me going forward. So on our wire extension that we had just previously made, we'll strip these wires, and then we'll put our blades on the end of them to connect to our T-taps. Okay, and then we can go plug these in. So we'll do our black to our ground here. And then our red is going to our auxiliary 2. Our white is going to go to our auxiliary 3. Okay, so that's all good. The wiring is all done. Fairly straightforward, especially with the auxiliary upfitter switches, wires being right here. All right, so everything's tucked away, so we can go ahead and close this. To the moment of truth, let's go turn on the auxiliary switches and we'll see if they work. So you have to make sure your vehicle's in start or running in order for the auxiliary switches to work. So if we go ahead and we press our auxiliary 2, that should be our high beams. And then our auxiliary 3. So these are backlit lights, which I really like. I didn't even know that these had that feature. And that is very exciting. I really like that. You can drive with it. It's just very, very subtle. And then we got the high beams, which we will test in a little bit here. It's almost dark outside. So once it gets a little darker, we'll take it out and we'll see just how bright these bad boys are. All right, so we are moments away from darkness. And until then, I figured I'll just show you guys one last look kind of in the daytime and just sort of how much is already casting in terms of light. I apologize for the back half of that install process. My mic died, so the audio sounds probably pretty cruddy, and I do apologize for that. I take a lot of pride now in my videos and try to make the best quality videos for you guys. I got good mics, I got good cameras, and you know, just slowly trying to piece it all together with the editing and the shots and the install and all that good stuff. So we got very nice weather right now. It's very foggy outside, which is giving a cool effect of the lights right now with the kind of beam pattern being cast into the fog there. So really, really cool, and just kind of the perfect weather all around to kind of give you guys a good example of how strong these beams are. So obviously not quite dark, but pretty darn close, and obviously give you guys a good example of how bright those lights are. I mean, you can just see like where that beam is going. You can obviously see how high that beam's casting onto the trees. So lots of room to lower them down, especially with the fog. It gives you guys a pretty good idea of, it looks like a Batman spotlight right now, the bat signal, how high it's shooting. So I can always adjust those later, but man, I wonder if I should adjust those out. Like those are quite high. Just give me a second here. Let's do a quick adjustment on these, and we'll lower them ever so slightly here. And we'll do the same for this guy. There, that's a little bit better. Now they're shooting a little bit more horizontal, and we're not trying to call Batman. So this area is kind of all treed in, just to kind of and I'll even turn my headlights off just so you guys can see that they basically suffice as so my headlights are completely off, and they cast a ton of light. And everyone's gonna have, you know, it is very foggy out too, which is kind of almost perfect weather. Gives you know, a good idea of just how useful these lights can be. And now we've got miles of gravel road, so hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of just sort of how bright they are. So I mean, we can see how far away from the truck we can go, but it's gonna be yellow for quite a ways. It's pretty impressive. I'm very, very happy with how far they cast. So just extremely bright. Like I can't even look at them. I'll burn my eyes out. These definitely are not recommended to use while driving. That's why it's good to have them on an auxiliary switch, so you don't end up harming anyone while they're driving or causing any accidents, because you know there's a little bit of responsibility to be had when you have something like this on your truck, and you can't just run them all the time. And I often see people with LED bars on their roof always on, and that's just irresponsible. You ruin it for the rest of the community when you do stupid stuff like that, because technically where I live there should be covers on these guys when you're not off-roading. But all in all, guys, very happy, very easy install, and I like the fact that I can keep adding stuff to my truck that I can use with my auxiliary switches. That's what they're there for, so that's kind of exciting. And that'll about wrap it up for this video, you guys. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys. You guys are the ones that make it happen. You subscribers, the comments, the likes, all that stuff goes such a long way, and I appreciate you guys all for being here. So if you guys have any questions, any concerns, make sure you guys comment below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.